Now, there has also been a huge amount of researchers who have written all types of different views on what these changes may be. And recently there has also been a huge surge in public interest in these topics as well. And this is quite understandable, as many people view these tales as prophecies of end times. And man has always had a strange fascination with tales of doomsday. And what exactly is doomsday anyway, folks? I mean, are we talking about the end of the world here, or are we simply talking about the end of the world as we know it and a period of change, a new beginning rather than an end? That's the thing. I mean, most people look at stuff like this and they think of the end. Oh no, the end of everything. But what endings provide is new beginnings. And a new beginning may well be just what humankind needs. And you see, that's the way I look at things like the Mayan calendar as well, folks. I see the Mayan calendar as a new beginning. And the date of December 21st, 2012, this isn't a date where the world ends. It's the date where the new world begins. And the old world will have had to have ended before that date in order for the new beginning to start on that date. That's the thing, you know. Any changes we're going to have, any earth changes we're going to have, if indeed we are going to have earth changes at all, I believe will probably come before that date. There is speculation that these changes could appear any time from 2008 to 2015. So that puts us squarely in the period now where things could happen any day. But I honestly don't see any of these things as something to fear. But there are a lot of signs, and it seems very significant that the monetary system has also been designed to collapse just prior to this date of 2012. Be very doubtful if the money system lasts any longer than 2010, folks. It really will. All the signs of imminent monetary collapse are there. And so it's extremely important for people to realize that there is no value to this stuff anyway. It only has the value that we give it. When the money system crashes, we don't need to go into panic mode. We simply need to start supporting each other. And this is why I've been suggesting to people that they plant gardens and things like that. I've been suggesting this for the last 18 months, folks, that you all set yourself up to be able to support your family and maybe help people in your local community as well. And you can do this on a communal level, folks. Just get something to fall back on. Don't allow yourself to remain completely dependent upon the system, because I don't believe this system is going to last. I really don't see how it can. But there are lots of things going on that suggest these times of change are coming. And you know, we've got all of these financial and economic woes. We've got all of these wars building up. We've got the whole police state global union that they're trying to bring in. We've got a severe solar maximum on the way from the sun. And the sun has actually quietened right down at the moment. The sun usually lets out coronal ejections all the time. But since about the beginning of 2009, it's calmed right down. It's still pulsing, the way I was talking about a few shows ago when I said that the sun is pulsing like a heart at the moment, and it's having these huge energy releases. But these are kind of local releases. These aren't coronal ejections the way the sun normally does. The sun's quietened right down with its coronal ejections while it's going through this pulsing period. It's very significant, folks, that this is happening, and it may well be storing things up for a mass ejection sometime soon. Now, anybody who's watched my films, especially The Awakening, knows that I talk about an evolution of consciousness that is due to occur at this time in history. I believe this evolution in consciousness is due to occur simply because of things that are going on, simply because of things like the Fibonacci sequence, the rise in the Schumann cavity resonance. Some people say that the rise in the cavity resonance is a myth. I personally believe that it is a fact. And I believe a lot of the evolution that is occurring to the consciousness of humankind will be triggered by our sun. Carl Sagan also believed that solar radiation had a lot to do with the evolution of human consciousness. I had someone actually write, I think it was on my Facebook page the other day, I had a lady write that perhaps the chemtrails, the barium in the chemtrails, the aluminium and the stuff that they're putting in the chemtrails is shielding humankind from a lot of the solar radiation, and may well be being done in order to inhibit this conscious evolution that is occurring, and to prevent mankind from being too exposed to this evolutionary solar radiation that is coming from the sun. There's a very good possibility of this, folks. When you add all the numbers together, you start connecting the dots, you see how the magnetosphere is breaking down, which is allowing more solar radiation to come in from the sun. You see how the sun has been doing all of these weird things, and now it's started pulsing, and it's calmed right down, as if it's preparing for a major outburst. It's like it's saving up all its energy for one big mass ejection. And this could well be the case, folks, and this could have a very significant effect upon the consciousness of humankind. So all of these things need considering. We've got things like the Norway spiral that appeared in, what was it, November last year, I believe. These things have also appeared over China. We've had very strange radar anomalies showing up in Australia, all over Australia. So there are some very strange things going on. There's a lot of reference to these spirals in the sky as well, in a lot of ancient rock carvings and petroglyphs and cave paintings and things like that. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that these spirals are actually seen in the sky before periods of change. And that's something also that needs looking at. So there are all sorts of things that suggest that something very unusual is happening or is about to happen on planet Earth. Personally, I think we are in for a hell of a ride, folks, and I think it actually already is a hell of a ride. We're already starting on this ride now. And I believe that one of the most important things we can do through all of this period is to maintain our energetic state, to not move into a state of fear, to understand what reality is, and realize that this is just a ride. And the energetic state of the collective consciousness is what will determine the outcome of this ride. So it's good to keep positive. And we don't need everybody on Earth to suddenly become positive in order to create a positive reality. We really only need a small amount of people, because the energy of love is so much more powerful than the energy of fear. So it doesn't matter if we've got millions of people that are locked in fear, as long as we have that core essence who are in an energetic state of love. This is all it needs to bring about the change. Love is so much more powerful than fear. So it's important to view any changes that are coming as simply a period of transition, because that's all it is. Because you're infinite consciousness, I'm infinite consciousness, we are all infinite consciousness, and ultimately it doesn't matter what change the world makes, what change consciousness makes. What matters is our energetic state through the transition. So this is why it's good to address the money supply, folks. The money supply and the current totally corrupt monetary system is one of the main tools that is used to keep consciousness down, to keep people in a state of stress. Understanding the legal system is also a great thing to do. This is exactly why I wish to make the short film that I mentioned earlier on, that I'm planning to make, to help people understand the Australian Constitution. This helps for my country anyway. Unfortunately, I can't make a film on the finer points of the American legal system because I'm simply not familiar enough with it, folks. I don't live in America, so I can't really make too much of an analysis on the American legal system. However, I do have a reasonable understanding of constitutional law in my own country, and so I can bring that to the people anyway. And understanding this legal system, and understanding the legal system in your own country, and understanding the rights that you have is a very empowering thing for people to do. It really does give you a whole new outlook to life. It changes your perspective. once you realize the power that you actually have. And you'll find that this power really does exist. In a lot of countries, it does exist if you start understanding the final points of your legal system. So that's why I want to bring that to people anyway. I just think it'll help. I think all of these things help, folks. I think the more people who become empowered and the more positive the human consciousness gets in general, the more hope we have through this change, and the more possibility we have of manifesting a good reality through this change. And all of those people who sit there and believe that they are all going to ascend to fifth dimension if they stay in this new age mentality, I would suggest that these people begin to understand that there is truly only one self, and they are not going to ascend to fifth dimension by ignoring the plight of those around them.